In this video, we're going to answer the question, what's the difference between a Roth IRA and Robinhood? And this question comes from Taylor, and he said that, so the difference between a Roth IRA and Robinhood is that Robinhood has capital gains where an IRA does not. Is that correct? Well, Taylor was watching the video, is the Roth IRA or traditional IRA a better investment? So if you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link in the description at the bottom. Go ahead and watch that video. But this is actually a really good question because I see it a lot from people who are just starting out investing. They see a platform like Robinhood, they hear about it in the news, you go onto these platforms and they gamify everything, they make it super exciting and they get the engagement, which is great if you're just starting out in investing. But there are a lot of problems with gamifying it because it probably is incentivizing you to buy things that you might not otherwise do. But that's not what we're going to talk about in this video. I want to talk about understanding the types of accounts that you're opening up. So a Roth IRA goes in after tax and it grows tax deferred. So all those buys and sells, you're not going to pay any capital gains tax on. But when you pull them out in retirement, they come out tax free. So that is the Roth IRA. But a lot of these new platforms don't seem to have any of these types of accounts. Some of them do, but not all of them, especially when they're just starting out. And that is pretty typical of what you're going to see in these platforms, that they'll have what we call a non-retirement account or a non-qualified account, often called a brokerage account. But don't get confused because sometimes brokerage accounts can also be a Roth IRA. Typically, a brokerage account is a transactional account, but not always. So there's a lot of variations in the definitions. So let me go ahead and pull this up on Robinhood's website. And I had to go look because I don't have an account at Robinhood and I don't deal with Robinhood. But I looked at what their offerings were, and they do have 3 different types of brokerage accounts. What looks like a Robinhood Instant account, looks like a general trading platform. Robinhood Gold looks like it has a margin account attached to it to give you some leverage. Not always the best thing if you're just starting out. And Robinhood Cash. Now, I don't know a whole lot about these 3 types of accounts, but they all look like brokerage accounts to me. So that means that they're all taxable accounts in the year that you're making those transactions. So if you buy an individual stock and you hold it, you're not going to have taxes on it. But when you go ahead and sell it, if you have a gain, that's going to have capital gains. Now, if you hold it for 1 year or longer, that is going to be long-term capital gains, or shorter than 1 year, it's going to be short-term capital gains. So for the long-term capital gains, you actually need to hold it for a day past 365. So technically 366 days for the long-term capital gains. But that is only for the brokerage accounts. The ordinary income tax rates is what you would have in a Roth IRA. So even though a lot of these trading platforms give different types of accounts, different names, if it is a non-retirement account, meaning it's not a Roth IRA or not a traditional IRA, it is likely a non-retirement account. So as Robinhood is calling it, Robinhood Instant or Robinhood Gold or Robinhood Cash, all those are brokerage accounts. They have capital gains, and that's how it works. So you're just going to have to look for a platform that could also have a Roth IRA. And just as a side note, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with a platform if they don't offer Roth IRAs or traditional IRAs. It just means that they have a non-retirement account. And if you like trading on that platform, that's great. And if you don't, go find one that does have a Roth IRA. Or you can have multiple accounts at multiple different firms. There's a lot of ways to do this. Nothing wrong with Robinhood. Just wanted to point that out. I'm sure that other people have these questions when they're looking at different trading platforms and wondering, why don't they have a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and all these other types of accounts that I'm always hearing about. Hopefully this has helped. If you have questions, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.